What is happening in real estate on Longboat Key in the wake of two major storms, Helene and also Milton? In this video, I'm going to give you some information about our town, how we handled it, what the damage is, and what the future looks like, for real estate here in Longboat Key. I'm going to share with you a new state law also for buyers as it relates to purchasing property that may have had flood damage. Also, I'm going to touch on insurance, and also we're going to look at the numbers so that you know what's happening in our real estate market right now. Okay, so where are we after the storms? I am happy to report that the town of Longboat Key Management has done really a truly excellent job with recovery and also with keeping us safe. As a barrier island, we have to be aware that the beauty that is here, the stunning beaches and the gorgeous bay, can really flip quickly with a visit from a very angry Mother Nature. Now, fortunately, our town management had a plan in place and knew exactly what to do. During Helene, we did experience a storm surge that flooded many properties. There are many areas of the Key that traditionally do experience more flooding than other areas, and they certainly took the brunt of the storm. They were, though, however, there were, many other properties in other communities that had water damage and also sand damage, and they were not expecting it because they traditionally don't get it. Now, Milton really was really, I would say, more of a wind event here on Longboat Key. The flooding was much less. There were a lot of downed trees, windows that blew out in some cases, damage to carports, for example. There were some communities that weathered the storms quite well, and many of us, my gosh, were very, very grateful for having minimal damage. Now, for those not as lucky, as a community, we are moving quickly to repair and restore where needed, really. And certainly our hearts go out to those who have been displaced by the storm. There is, I would say, on Longboat Key, a very strong group of people who live here, and they have really great passion for Longboat Key. Um, you kind of have to take the good with the bad. And from talking to a lot of people who have been affected, I would say many of them are already making plans to improve their properties, and still others will sell and move. So it's a little bit of both. Now, having lived through multiple storms and hurricanes, including Superstorm Sandy when I lived up north and was working in real estate up north, I can tell you that communities rebuild. And, generally the memory fades, and that helps our property owners. So I have to say that moving forward, I think it's really important to keep that in mind as a property owner. A lot of people worry about, what the damage is going to be and how that's going to affect their value. But over time, as we rebuild and we make our property stronger than ever before, life will return to normal. And we should have improved structures as well as more safeguards in place to protect our people and, of course, our homes. Now, in the intro of this video, I mentioned that there was a new state law developed really to protect buyers as it relates to purchasing property that may have flooded in the past. So I want to tell you about that. This new flood disclosure now is required by the state of Florida, and it requires that sellers of a property, they must disclose whether they have filed a claim with insurance, like with an insurance provider, or if they have received any federal assistance for flood damage on the property. It is important to note that the disclosure is required in all residential real estate transactions, including those that are new construction as well as condominiums, and it does not differentiate between improved or vacant land. So now I will say that it does not apply to rentals. So if you are considering buying in this area, we will go through a process of discovery and learn about the property. If there was any damage, if there was, if that damage was something you cannot tolerate or you can tolerate, And if you can't tolerate it, no problem. We'll find you a property that was not touched by flooding, because there were many of those. Now, as a seller, making proper disclosures about your property and the damage to the property is really top priority. As you prepare to sell, you can talk, you know, we can, I guess, what I should say is that we should talk about what really to disclose. And also, I would say any remedy that you might have done to repair any property that you may have had, whether it was flooding, a blown out window, or something else. So as your realtor, it's really my job to communicate to your buyer or potential buyers on your behalf. And this is why professional representation is really key. And another quick note for buyers about the limits of homeowners insurance. And I bring this up because I think it's really important, because it's what you need to know about insurance protection in floods. You may need a separate flood policy depending on where you live. Now, most of Longboat Key is in the flood zone. So if you buy a property here, a condominium in particular, they may have an existing flood policy that may cover various things in your home. Certainly the exterior of the unit, and perhaps even some of the interior, including the drywall of your unit, but it really just depends. These are important questions to ask when purchasing. You know, how much is covered, and do you need your own flood insurance to cover the interior contents? So as your real estate agent, you know, these are the questions that I help you ask. It's important to ask the right questions and talk, of course, to licensed professionals in the insurance business who can help you make decisions, and so that you know your options. Okay, moving on from insurance and onto the recent sales. And this is kind of interesting, really, and the numbers, because I'd like to share with you what's happening. We have had a bunch of significant closings or sales, particularly at the St. Regis residence here on Longboat Key. And those have ranged in price, if you can believe it, from 20 million all the way to 2 million. And the move-in has begun. As of today, we have 117 homes, condos, townhouses, and villas on the market here in Longboat Key. Now, many homes certainly have had damage from the storm, and a lot of those homes have been taken off the market. And so our inventory is a little lower than it, usually is, or in comparison to what it typically is at this time of year. And since October 1st, and I think this is important to know, we have had 11 closings. Now, 6 of those have certainly been at the St. Regis, but there have been a variety of other closings, and that's been in between the storms. So people are still buying on Longboat Key, even amidst the storms. So I think that's important to know, because the property here is still desirable, and as we continue on, it will continue to grow in popularity over time. That has really been our experience. So if you have any questions about what is happening in the real estate market here in Longboat Key, my name is Judy Mitchell. I live and work right here in Longboat. I have endured the storms here, and I can give you a lot of information about which properties fared well and those that did not, unfortunately. So we are strong, we are going to build back, and I feel very optimistic about the future of Longboat Key. So if you need to reach me, please contact me at my contact information, which is just below here in this YouTube video. And if you had found this helpful, give me the thumbs up button. I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much.